I'm in my parents' garden today in Staten Island, New York, and I'm going to show you some of the exotic flowers that you have to smell to believe. They grow really well here and don't get a whole lot of care, and that's what I love about them. My parents live on Staten Island, New York, which is a USDA Zone 7. I have been gardening here my whole entire life up until I moved away and started my own garden, and a lot of the plants that I grew as a kid are still here today. So I'm going to show you a few of my favorites. It's amazing how it smells right now in this yard. Unbelievable. I want to show you cold hardy gardenias. I'm growing two varieties in my parents' yard. I have another one at my garden on Long Island. This is a frostproof gardenia. It has these really cool narrow leaves. It's cold tolerant in zones 7 and up. I have lost them during the winter time. They've died during the winter unprotected if it's a cold year. If it's a mild year, it survives without any problems. So I have this one in a container, but I'm going to show you my other one in a minute that has been outside for a decade now. Both of these bloom around the same time. Usually 4th of July is when the blooms are at their heaviest, so right on schedule. And then sporadically I'll get blooms on and off for the rest of the summer. I hope everybody watching this video has experienced the smell of gardenia at some point in their life. If not, you probably have in perfumes, but you have to get it from the source, because there is nothing like this plant in the world except maybe jasmine. I have a star jasmine growing in the ground in my backyard on Long Island, and that's also been very successful with protection against a wall. But this one I wanted to keep in a container. All of these go in the garage during the winter time. That's my secret to growing gardenias. I find that if I put them in the house, they're very high maintenance because these are plants that flush with growth in the spring. So when you bring them into the house, just like citrus, they think it's spring and they flush with growth, and then they die because they need a lot more. They need a lot more. Hearing some of my neighbors' music because it is party time. It's 4th of July weekend. I'm gonna get up on this ladder and show you my Plumeria in a second. The blooms are unbelievable on this plant, but first I want to show you that other gardenia in the ground. Of course, I have my windmill palms that are doing great also in the ground. We'll talk about that too in a minute, but this is my summer snow gardenia. What I love about this is that it has very tropical looking leaves. I mean, check out these leaves. They're much bigger than the frostproof, and I actually find that this is more cold tolerant than frostproof. This is by far the best that this plant has ever looked, and it was a pretty cold winter. If you were watching some of my previous videos, you know I lost a lot of plants in my yard this winter. This one did fine, and honestly, I really didn't protect it this year. Oh, there's a heron flying above. Anyway, so yes, look at the fragrant blooms on this. Some of them are spent. Let me show you a new one that's just unfurling. Look at that. Isn't it perfect? So this is like your classic gardenia, but it is allegedly cold tolerant down to a zone 6B. And I will tell you, it has had no problems at all in my zone 7, which other gardenias like frostproof have had issues in the past. I do try and cover this, but it's not like anything much. It's really living on its own, very warm part of a garden. This is a southern facing exposure. So there it is, my summer snow gardenia, and then you can see my windmill palms that are towering over it. That fence about 6 feet tall, maybe a little less than 6 feet tall. The palms are probably closer to 9-10 feet tall. Of course, there's some non-fragrant blooms in the garden too, like this hibiscus and this oleander, incredibly toxic. So don't plant this if you have pets that are curious, kids that are curious, don't plant it. But if you don't have those responsibilities, then plant it and enjoy. This also goes in the garage during the winter time and is very happy there. It can handle some pretty decent cold. Some can handle more cold than others though, and this one seems to handle more cold than others. Some of them kind of like peter out if you get a hard freeze. All right, so keeping with the theme of pretty flowers, this is Gazania. I have these in my yard too. They are just spectacular. I mean, what else has these daisy-like flowers that just are totally unbothered by any sort of weather? Speaking of unbothered, we're losing some sunlight, but this aloe gets full sun most of the day, and it bloomed twice this year. I got a flower inside the house. I think I have a video of that one if you want to watch it. And I mean, obviously you grow it for the leaves, but I mean, the flowers are a pretty nice bonus, right? Look at that. amazing, amazing. But if you like daisy-ish kind of flowers, I honestly recommend this one that I'm growing. It's called Golden Butterfly. Good luck trying to pronounce it, but I'm gonna try. 𝗪𝗵𝘃𝘄𝗿. Not gonna roll off the tongue, so we'll call it Golden Butterfly. I just prune off these spent little flowers here, just in case they try and go to seed, because that would take the energy out of the plant. If it went to seed, it wouldn't be making any more flowers, because what would be the point of making flowers if you already made children? It would be like, done. Its point in life is to make kids. Or whatever you call them, seedlings. They're my kids. So many different types of geranium. I really love this one. Overwintered in the house, and it looked a little rough for a while, but it's come back beautifully. Growing underneath my Bengal tiger canna, which has beautiful orange flowers. This I bring into the garage. This one stays outside all year long. It's Canna Robert Kemp. Like I said, it was a bad winter, and this year the clump actually died back significantly. And so, you know, if you can grow cannas and they come back, then you could probably grow that hardy ginger. Look at how cool this is. This is a brand new Crape Myrtle, but it has dark leaves, and I actually kept the name of it. This is called Center Stage Pink. Right on the pot. I planted it in the ground, of course, but I kept the pot handy because I knew I was going to forget the name. Center Stage Pink. I think that this is a really cool contrast with the elephant ears. I'm all about Mandevillas and Dipladenias. This one, I believe, is sold as a Mandevilla. It's called Bluephoria, and it does have kind of bluish flowers. But the thing is here that it doesn't get a lot of vining with it. It definitely grows more like a bush, which is kind of what you would expect out of a Dipladenia, not a Mandevilla. It's kind of your classic Mandevilla. Grows up a trellis and eventually up this pole. Back to cannas. This one is a 𝗪𝗏𝘁. Medical professionals, please help me. It has two different types of genetics in one plant. So really, really cool plant. The flowers are totally unpredictable, sometimes totally red, sometimes totally yellow, many of the time a little fusion of both, and it's become very popular. I really love seeing this canna around. It survives mild winters, but I do bring this into the garage just in case, because this flower smells exactly like baby powder to me. Isn't it beautiful? It's another plant that I really think you have to smell to believe. It smells so much like baby powder. And I would have no idea what it was called if I didn't do this one thing, which is right in the end of the pots. I save all of the tags now. See? All of the tags from this container. So I know that this is Scentrophia. That's the name of the flower. My mom has officially fallen in love with daisy-like flowers, I think. We've got dahlias here. A must. Dahlias are, of course, tubers, so you can, yeah, you guessed it, put them in the garage. You just let the first frost get it, dig up the tuber, put it in the garage. I've had some people say that they have survived the winter for them as well, but they're considered a zone 8 plant, so definitely borderline for us here. Wouldn't want to risk plants this beautiful, right? Maybe you can save one or two in the ground and see what happens. So some of these get really like almost dinner plate sized flowers. These would need a little bit more training upright, so I have this growing right against the pool fence, and I can sort of tie it to the fence. All right, you're gonna make me work for this next one. We're gonna talk about Plumeria. I have had this Plumeria since I was in the 8th grade, so it is ginormous, and it goes inside the house. It loses all its leaves in the winter time, and then it blooms when it goes back outside every single summer. So I actually have some air plants growing on it. I think I got this when I lived in Florida, and it's called 𝗫𝗏𝘃cie 𝗿𝗏𝗁𝗍𝗍𝗃𝗍𝗏. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed I remembered that. 𝗫𝗏𝘃cie 𝗿𝗏𝗁𝗍𝗃𝗍𝗏. I thought it was dead. I really did. It was not looking good in the house. I did not water this once in the house. Not once. It's just growing in the middle of a branch. What am I supposed to do for water? So went without water for like 6 months, and it's got tons of new growth. I mean, once you get 𝗫𝗏𝘃cies to this size, they're just gonna kind of thrive for you, honestly. That sexy oleander, and of course my palm trees. But now we're gonna climb that ladder because I want you to see the plumerias. Hold on. So this wasn't sold to me as a specific type of plumeria, but over the years I've determined it's probably called salsa. When I look online, it looks very similar to the flowers, and the leaves are very similar to Plumeria salsa. Very vigorous plant when young. I always get flowers. I've gotten flowers every single year. There are a lot of plumeria that don't want to bloom in my climate because the winters are just too long inside the house. It doesn't have enough time to develop its buds, but this one does. I have a beautiful head of flowers here. The smell is unreal. Amazing fragrance. And I have one over there. Do you see it? And then I have one up there, pretty high up. So I may need to go in my bedroom. Oh, and there's another one. So there's 4. Sorry, I lied. There was a little hidden inflorescence over here. 5 flower heads that I can see, and maybe more. At least 5. So each one of those flower inflorescences can have up to 100 flowers. So 500 Plumeria flowers in New York, pretty good deal. I got it off eBay for like $10. I'm on the ladder. I'm going down. More of those Gazanias. Sorry, sidetrack. More cannas. I want to show you some more of the Plumeria. So this one actually really didn't bloom very well for me in the past, but I do have some flowers on it this year. Focus, there we go. And it's taking a little bit of a break. See, so you can see the flowers kind of fade, more form in its place. So I don't know the name of this one. This is just like a plain old, you know, typical Plumeria variety. It's nothing special. This one is Plumeria Divine, which is a dwarf Plumeria that just doesn't get any bigger than this, and it blooms every single year. I've had it since 2010. We've got a flower here, flower bud here, flower bud here, flower bud here, and it's all like eye level. So that's nice. I don't have to climb any ladders. I don't have to risk my life to sniff a flower. It's all nice and compact. This is a really cool hibiscus. I like how some hibiscus kind of have different sort of shapes to the leaves. My hardy hibiscus will be a separate video. Those aren't in bloom yet. They will be soon. These are all still tropical hibiscus. Flowers on this are unbelievable. It's not blooming today, of course, but it's looking good. I have a nice hydrangea over here, and then look at the lantana. This has variegated leaves, so kind of adds a little extra element to it. This is salvia. All of this, except for the lantana I did not plant, but everything else in this container is a winter survivor from inside the house. I got a great deal on these hibiscus trees from a nursery in Jersey. Look at the double flowers on this. Is this not amazing? We've got 3 flowers on it today. I feel like every single day I get blooms. It's just awesome. My neighbor gave me this. I consider myself a very good gardener, but I did not know that Dianthus existed until a couple of years ago. It wasn't until I moved to South Carolina and saw them for sale in the winter. They bloom in the wintertime, even here, if it's a mild year, but most often I get a first really nice flush of blooms in the spring and then sporadically throughout the summer. Some varieties bloom more than others, and just like a cute little grassy plant. Dragon wing begonias are a must for any tropical gardener because they are really easy to overwinter if you do want to bring them into the house, and just great annuals. You can actually just cut them and root them. They have huge leaves, beautiful flowers, and I kind of like how the red complements this poinsettia looking coleus plants. Often see Rieger begonias for sale, but those can't handle hot weather. These can. These are called non-stop begonias. They look really similar, but they handle the heat pretty well. I keep them in part sun. This is evening sunlight that it's getting right now. Most of the day it's in shade. I love yellow. Mostly my mom loves yellow. The white are also really pretty, especially when you have that dark glittery foliage. These handle a surprising amount of bad weather. So if you think that the glittery foliage is going to be bad in the heat or, you know, humidity, it's really not a problem. I have a Brugmansia growing on the kind of middle as the centerpiece of this container, and they go pretty well together. Some of them are double flowered, and then some of them are single. It sort of just depends on what it feels like doing. That's about it for the exotic flowers. A lot of these are blooming blooms that you just have to be here to experience, but you can grow them in your yard too, because like I said, I live in a zone 7 and this is my parents' yard, so you know it has to be low enough maintenance that all you need to do is water them during the summertime, because my mom works a full-time job and she loves plants and waters every day, but that's about the most that she can do. This isn't any special care, no special fertilizer or fertilizer at all. These are easy plants, but if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe, because my next video is going to be about all of the unusual plants that I'm growing in my parents' yard. Unbelievable banana plants that I've just recently seen for sale here. I have palm trees that have been in the garden for decades, and if you've been following along, you know some of these plants, but you don't know all of them, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'll see y'all later. Bye.